Good morning. Welcome back to another Snowball Bible reading video. My name is Jerry, as you can see down here in the corner. And we're going to be wrapping up the book of First Kings today. I'm reading from the TS 2009 version of the Bible, aka the scriptures. And we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. If I can pull this up. Okay. Chapter 20, 1 Kings. And Ben-Hadad, the king of Aram, gathered all his army, and there were 32 kings with him, with horses and chariots, and he went up and besieged Shamaron and fought against it. And he sent messengers into the city to Ahab, king of Israel, and said to him, Thus said Ben-Hadad, Your silver and your gold are mine, and your wives and children, the best are mine. And the king of Israel answered and said, As you say, my master, O king, I am yours and all that I have. And the messengers came back and said, Thus speaks Ben-Hadad, saying, Indeed, I have sent to you, saying, Give me your silver and your gold, your wives and your children. But about this time tomorrow I shall send my servants to you, and they shall search your house and the house of your servants, and it shall be that whatever is pleasing in your eyes, they shall lay hold of it and take it. And the king of Israel called all the elders of the land and said, Please know and see the evil this one is seeking. For he sent to me for my wives, and for my children, and for my silver, and for my gold, and I did not refuse him. And all the elders and all the people said to him, Do not listen nor agree. So he said to the messengers of Ben-Hadad, Say to my master the king, all that you sent for to your servants for all all that you sent forward to your servant for the first time I shall do, but this I am unable to do. And the messenger sent and brought back word to him. And Ben-Hadad sent to him and said, The mighty ones do so to me, and more also, if enough dust is left in Shomron for a handful for each of the people who follow me. And the king of Israel answered and said, Speak, him who girds on his armor should not boast like him who lays it down. And it came to be when this word was heard, as he and the kings were drinking in the booths, that he said to his servants, Set yourselves. So they set themselves against the city. And see, a prophet came near to Ahab, king of Israel, saying, Thus said Yahuwah, have you seen all this great company? See, I am giving it into your hand today, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. And Ahab said, By whom? And he said, Thus said Yahuwah, by the young rulers of the provinces. And he said, Who opens the attack? Then he answered, You. And he mustered the young rulers of the provinces, and there were 232. And after them he mustered all the people, all the children of Israel, 7,000. And they went out at noon, while Ben-Hadad and the 32 kings helping him were getting drunk in the booths. And the young rulers of the provinces went out first, and Ben-Hadad sent out, and they reported to him, saying, Men have come out of Shamaron. And then he said, If they have come out for peace, seize them alive, and if they have come out for battle, seize them alive. So these young rulers of the provinces went out of the city with the army which followed them, and each struck his man, so the Arameans fled, and Israel pursued them. And Ben-Hadad, the sovereign, the king of Aram, escaped on a horse with the horsemen. And the king of Israel sent out and struck the horses and chariots, and struck the Arameans a great smiting. And the prophet came to the king of Israel and said to him, Go, strengthen yourself, and know and see what you should do. For at the turn of the year, the king of Aram is coming up against you. And the servants of the king of Aram said to him, Their mighty ones are mighty. Their mighty ones are mighty ones of the hills. That is why we are stronger. They are stronger than we. But let us fight against them in the plain. Are we not stronger than they? Now do this, take away the kings, each from his position, and put officers in their places, and number any army like the army that you have lost, horse for horse and chariot for chariot, and let us fight against them in the plain. We are not stronger than they. Are we not stronger than they? Excuse me. And he listened to their voice and did so. And it came to be at the turn of the year that Ben-Hadad mustered the Arameans and went up to Aphek to fight against Israel. And the children of Israel were mustered and were fed. And they went against them, and the children of Israel encamped before them like two little flocks of goats, while the Arameans filled the land. And there came near a man of Elohim and spoke to the king of Israel and said, Thus said Yahuwah, because the Arameans have said, Yahuwah is Elohim of the hills, but he is not Elohim of the valleys. Therefore I shall give all the great company into your hand, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. And they encamped opposite each other for 7 days, and it came to be that on the seventh day the battle was joined, and the children of Israel struck 100,000 foot soldiers of the Arameans in 1 day. And those that were left fled to Aphek into the city, and a wall fell on 27,000 of the men who were left. And Ben-Hadad fled and went into the city, into an inner room. And his servants said to him, See now, we have heard that the kings of the house of Israel are lovingly committed kings. Please let us put sackcloth around our waists and robes around our heads, and go out to the king of Israel. It could be that he spares your life. So they girded sackcloth on their loins and put robes around their heads, and came to the king of Israel and said, Your servant Ben-Hadad said, Please let me live. And he said, Is he still alive? He is my brother. And the men divined, and they quickly grasped it and said, Your brother Ben-Hadad. And he said, Go, bring him. So Ben-Hadad came out to him, and he let him come up on the chariot. And Ben-Hadad said to him, The cities which my father took from your father I return, and set up marketplaces for yourselves in Damascus, as my father did in Shamaron. And Ahab said, I send you away with this covenant. And he made a covenant with him and sent him away. And a certain man of the sons of the prophets said to his neighbor by the word of Yahuwah, Strike me, please. But the man refused to strike him. Then he said to him, Because you have not obeyed the voice of Yahuwah, see, as soon as you leave me, a lion shall strike you. And when he left him, a lion found him and struck him. And he found another man and said, Strike me, please. So the man struck him, striking and wounding. Then the prophet went and waited for the king by the way, and disguised himself with a bandage on his eyes. And as the king passed by, he cried out to the king and said, Your servant went out into the midst of the battle, and see, a man came over and brought a man to me and said, Guard this man. If he should in any way be missing, your life shall be for his life, or else you shall pay a talent of silver. And it came to be, while your servant was busy here and there, he was gone. And the king of Israel said to him, Your judgment is right. You yourself have decided it. Then he quickly removed the bandage from his eyes, and the king of Israel recognized him as one of the prophets. And he said to him, Thus said Yahuwah, because you have let slip out of your hand a man whom I put under the ban, therefore your life shall go for his life, and your people for his people. And the king of Israel went to his house, embittered and displeased, and came to Shamaron. Chapter 21. Genesis, shalom. Good morning, brother. Yes, sir. Second pot and breakfast. How many pots of coffee do you drink every day? So I'm going to put in the chat here, and hopefully it shows up on your guys' end. This is a link to this Bible reading playlist. And mostly for those who watch this later. I know, Genesis, you've been following along for almost all the videos. 3 to 4 cups or pots. That's a incredible amount of coffee. But hey, gotta do what you gotta do to keep that energy up, you know. Also, I'm gonna try something new. I got a little banner thingy. I'm gonna add it to the screen. Okay, cool. So doesn't block much of the chat. That's good. All right, we're gonna keep on reading here. Pots, he says. 3 to 4 pots. All right. So we're on chapter 21, and I'll go ahead and I'm always a little paranoid that I'm gonna close myself out and won't be sharing the word with you guys. All right. And it came to be after these events that Naboth the Israelite came, I guess Israelite, right? Naboth, I don't know, the Israelite had a vineyard which was in Israel, near the palace of Ahab, the king of Shamaron. And Ahab spoke to Naboth, saying, "Give me your vineyard, and it shall be a vegetable garden for me, since it adjoins my house, and let me give you a better vineyard for it. If it is good in your eyes, let me give it you its worth in silver." And Naboth said to Ahab, "Far be it from me, by Yahuwah, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers to you." And Ahab went into his house and embittered and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Israelite had spoken to him, when he said, "I do not give you the inheritance of my fathers." And he lay down on his bed and turned away his face and did not eat food. And Isabel, his wife, came to him and said to him, "Why is your spirit so embittered that you are not eating food?" And he said to her, "Because I spoke to Naboth the Israelite and said to him, 'Give me your vineyard for silver, or if you prefer, I give you another vineyard for it.' But he answered, 'I do not give you my vineyard.' So Isabel, his wife, said to him, 'Do you now rule over Israel? Rise up, eat food, and let your heart be glad. Let me give you the vineyard of Naboth the Israelite.' Then she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters to the elders and the nobles who were dwelling in the city with Naboth. And she wrote in the letters, saying, 'Proclaim a fast and seat Naboth at the head of the table, and seat 2 men, sons of Belial, before him, to bear witness against him, saying, You have blasphemed Elohim and the king. Then you shall take him out and stone him to death.' And the men of his city, the elders and nobles who were inhabitants of his city, did as Isabel had sent to them, as it was written in the letters which she had sent to them. They proclaimed a fast and seated Naboth at the head of the people. And the men, sons of Belial, came in and sat before him, and the men of Belial witnessed against him, against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, 'Naboth has blasphemed Elohim and the king.' So they took him outside the city and stoned him with stones, and he died. And they sent to Isabel, saying, 'Naboth has been stoned and is dead.' And it came to be, when Isabel heard that Naboth had been stoned and was dead, that Isabel said to Ahab, 'Arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Israelite, which he refused to give you for silver, for Naboth is not alive, but dead.' And it came to be, when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab rose to go out to take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Israelite. And the word of Yahuwah came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, 'Rise up, go down to meet Ahab, king of Israel, who lives in Shamaron. See, he is in the vineyard of Naboth, where he has gone down to take possession of it. And you shall speak to him, saying, Thus said Yahuwah, you have murdered and also taken possession, and you shall speak to him, saying, Thus said Yahuwah, in the place where dogs licked the blood of Naboth, the dogs are going to lick your blood, even yours. And Nahab said to Eliyahu, Have you found me, O my enemy? And he answered, I have found you, because you have sold yourself to do evil in the eyes of Yahuwah. See, I am bringing evil on you, and shall consume your descendants, and cut off from Ahab every male in Israel, both those shut up and those left at large, and make your house like the house of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, son of Ahiah, because of the provocation with which you have provoked me and made Israel sin. And also of Isabel, Yahuwah has spoken, saying, The dogs are going to eat Isabel by the wall of Israel. The dogs are going to eat whoever belongs to Ahab and dies in the city, and the birds of the heavens are going to eat whoever dies in the field. Indeed, there never was anyone like Ahab who sold himself to do evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, because Isabel his wife stirred him up. And he acted very abominably in following idols, according to all that the Amorites had done, whom Yahuwah dispossessed from before the children of Israel. And it came to be, when Ahab heard those words, that he tore his garments and put sackcloth on his body, and fasted and lay in sackcloth, and went softly. And the word of Yahuwah came to Eliyahu the Tishbite, saying, See how Ahab has humbled himself before me. Because he has humbled himself before me, I do not bring the evil in his days, but in the days of his son I bring the evil on his house. Chapter 22. Yeah, with two to four pots, 3 to 4 pots of coffee a day, Moose does love you. And we love Moose. All right, chapter 22. And this chapter will conclude the book of 1 Kings. 53 verses. This is going to be a quick video this morning. Verse 1. And they continued 3 years without fighting between Aram and Israel. And it came to be in the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, came down to the king of Israel. And the king of Israel said to his servants, Do you know that Ramoth in Gilead is ours, and we are keeping silent from taking it out? Do you know that Ramoth Gilead is ours, and we are keeping silent from taking it out of the hand of the king of Aram? It doesn't look like that's a question. Verse 4, and he said to Jehoshaphat, Do you go with me to battle at Ramoth Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as you are, my people as your people, my horses as your horses. And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, Please first inquire of the word of Yahuwah. And the king of Israel gathered the prophets, about 400 men, and said to them, Do I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or do I refrain? And they said, Go up, for Yahuwah does give it into the hand of the king. And Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of Yahuwah beside that we might inquire of him? And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, There is still one man, Micaiah, Micaiah, son of Yimla, to inquire of Yahuwah by him. But I hate him, because he does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so. So the king of Israel called an officer and said, Bring Micaiah, son of Yimla, at once. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, were sitting each on his throne, dressed in their robes, at a threshing floor at the entrance of the gate of Shamaron. And all the prophets were prophesying before them. And Zedekiah, son of Canaanah, had made horns of iron for himself and said, "Thus said Yahuwah, with these you push the Arameans until they are destroyed." And all the prophets were prophesying, so saying, "Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for Yahuwah shall give it into the hand of the king." And the messenger who had gone to call Micaiah spoke to him, saying, "See now, the words of the prophet with one mouth are good toward the king. Please let your word be like the word of one of them, and you shall speak good." And Micaiah said, "As Yahuwah lives, whatever Yahuwah says to me, that I speak." And he came to the king, and the king said to him, "Micaiah, do we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or do we refrain?" And he answered him, "Go and prosper, for Yahuwah shall give it into the hand of the king." And the king said to him, "How many times have I made you swear that you do not speak to me except the truth in the name of Yahuwah?" So he said, "I saw all Israel scattered on the mountains as sheep that have no shepherd." And Yahuwah said, "These have no master. Let everyone turn to his house in peace." And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, "Have I not said to you that he would not prophesy good concerning me, but evil?" Then he said, "Therefore, hear the word of Yahuwah. I saw Yahuwah sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of the heavens standing by him, on his right hand and on his left. And Yahuwah said, Who shall entice Ahab to go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And this one said this, and another said that. And a spirit came forward and stood before Yahuwah and said, Let me entice him. And Yahuwah said to him, In what way? And he said, I shall go out and be a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, Entice him, and also prevail. Go out and do so. And now, see, Yahuwah has put a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of all these prophets of yours, and Yahuwah has spoken evil concerning you. And Sidkiyahu, son of Kenaanah, came near and struck Micaiah on the cheek and said, Where did the spirit of Yahuwah pass over from me to speak to you? And Micaiah said, Look, you shall see on that day when you go into the inner room to hide. And the king of Israel said, Take Micaiah and return him to Amon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, son of the king, and say, Thus said the king, Put this one in prison, and feed him with bread of affliction and water of affliction until I come in peace. And Micaiah said, If you ever turn in peace, Yahuwah has not spoken by me. And he said, Hear all you people. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, Let me disguise myself and go into battle, but you put on your robes. So the king of Israel disguised himself and went into battle. And the king of Aram had Aram had commanded the 32 commanders of his chariots, saying, Fight with no one, small or great, but only with the king of Israel. And it came to be, when the commanders of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, Indeed, it is the king of Israel. So they turned aside to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat cried out. And it came to be, when the commanders of the chariots saw that it was not the king of Israel, that they turned back from pursuing him. And a man drew a bow in his simplicity and struck the king of Israel between the joints of his armor. And he said to the driver of his chariot, Turn around and take me out of the battle, for I am wounded. And the battle increased that day, and the king was propped up in his chariot, facing the Arameans, and died at evening. And the blood ran out from the wound onto the floor of the chariot. And as the sun was going down, a shout passed through the camp, saying, Each to his city, and each to his land. And the king died and was brought to Shamaron, and they buried the king in Shamaron. And when the chariot was washed at a pool in Shamaron, the dogs licked up his blood, where the whores bathed according to the word of Yahuwah, which he had spoken. And the rest of the acts of Ahab, and all that he did, and the ivory houses, in the ivory house which he built, and all the cities that he built, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Israel? So Ahab slept with his fathers, and Ahaziah, his son, reigned in his place. And Jehoshaphat, son of Asa, began to reign over Judah in the 4th year of Ahab, king of Israel. Jehoshaphat was 35 years old when he became king, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. And he walked in all the ways of his father Asa, and did not turn aside from them, doing what was right in the eyes of Yahuwah. Only the high places were not taken away, for the people slaughtered and burned incense on the high places. And Jehoshaphat made peace with the king of Israel. And the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, and the might that he showed, and how he fought, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? And the rest of the cult prostitutes who remained in the days of his father Asa, he cleared out from the land. And there was then no king in Edom, a deputy was king. Jehoshaphat made Tarshish ships to go to Ophir for gold. However, they did not go, for the ships were wrecked at Etzion Geber. Then Ahaziah, son of Ahab, said to Jehoshaphat, "Let my servants go with your servants in the ships." But Jehoshaphat would not. So Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father. And Jehoram, his son, reigned in his place. Ahaziah, son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Shomron in the 17th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 2 years over Israel, and did evil in the eyes of Yahuwah, and walked in the way of his father, and in the way of his mother, and in the way of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin, and served Baal, and bowed himself to it, and provoked Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, according to all that his father had done. All right, and that brings us to 2 Kings, which will be another video. So pretty much just me and you this morning in JS Genesis, which is all good. That's really, I'm just glad that we're creating the playlist of the scripture read through, and hopefully it is a blessing to people going forward. But I think that's going to do it for our video today. And give this video a like, and we'll see you tomorrow. I think we're going to be doing the evening video tomorrow, Thursday evening. All right. Shalom, brother. Catch you guys later. If I can find the sign out button. Crystal. Shalom.